In a world where everybody says bigger is always better, faster and quicker is always better, what about the inverse? Because when we look at what's bigger, don't bigger things generally come with bigger bills? Well, yeah. So if the inverse is true of a smaller thing, would they come with smaller bills? Well, let's talk about how you could downsize your home and live comfortably. My name is Andrew Finney, and my passion is helping you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent near you, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. All right, my friend, let's take a closer look at the different variety of people that a smaller home might appeal to the most. The first category would be a first-time home buyer, especially if they're out there looking and they get a little bit of sticker shock with some of those prices, and they're thinking, well, I might want a 2,000 square foot home, but I can't afford that mortgage. So you need to start tearing back into a smaller home and learn how to live comfortably within your means, right? That's the first type. The second type that it could appeal to are baby boomers. Now, baby boomers have been with us for a long time. None of us would be here right now without the baby boomers. Well, baby boomers are sitting on some of those pristine, larger properties. Now they're thinking to themselves, this is getting to be too much to maintain, and I'm ready to live a bit more comfortably. So they also want to downsize. And the third category of people that would look at a smaller home are generally people that are single and they want to be able to purchase their own home, and they're thinking, well, you know, I'm tired of paying rent and wasting money and just flushing it down the toilet every month. I'd rather buy my own place so I can own my roof, because at the end of the day, all of us got to have a roof over our head. So we have a decision to make as people. Do we want to rent that roof, or do we want to own that roof? Most of us would prefer to own it. The first thing to realize is that our grandparents actually got by with like a lot less. Consider the fact that in the 1920s, the average size of a home was about 1,048 square feet. And in 2014, that ballooned to 2,657 square foot on average. Where the heck did all this extra square foot come from? And why did we decide that bigger was better and we needed more? Especially when we consider back in the 1920s, the average size of a family was about 4.34 people per household. And they were all living in that 1,048 square foot house. And in 2014, the average size of a household actually decreased to an average of 2.54 people in a household living in 2,657 square feet. So it's pretty interesting when we think about that. How did we more than double the average size of a home from the 1920s to 2014? And in some cases, they're still getting bigger, right? So if it was good enough for our grandparents, shouldn't it be good enough for us? To put it in better context, consider that in the 1920s, with that 1,048 square foot home, with an average of 4.34 people living in it, that is 242 square feet on average for each person in that residence. To help you get a better idea of how big that is, think of like a single car garage. A 2-car garage is generally 430 square feet, so we're smaller than that on the average livability of what someone needed in the 1920s. And they were all doing this in that single bay garage, 242 square feet. Obviously, the expectations must have risen, because by 2014, we were all living in an average of 1,046 square feet per person. That is like 4 times as much as before. So again, if it was good enough for our elders, shouldn't it be good enough for us? Something to think about as we move on to point 2. So why would you want to buy a small house to begin with? And that's a really good question. So think about what we were sharing a moment ago in our conversation. Is like, okay, if we have bigger is better, well, kind of yeah and kind of no, I suppose, because with bigger come bigger bills, come bigger maintenance, come bigger home ownership costs, come bigger taxes, bigger insurance, bigger everything, right? So larger is not always better. Sometimes we can find just the right size for us by considering what our lifestyle is and what we really want to live like. And when we think about that and we put it in the context, maybe realistically, all we need is 1,400 square feet or 1,600 square feet. So what's going to be the benefit if you buy a home around 1,400 to 1,600 square foot as opposed to that 2,657 square foot monstrosity or 3,000, 4,000 square foot home? Obviously, it's going to come in the form of huge savings. And what's going to be bigger for you is your bank account. Now, which one of those situations is better? The bigger house that drains the bank, or the smaller house that increases the amount of money that you have in the bank? Only you can decide, but consider your choices wisely. The third thing that you want to consider is, what should you be looking for in a smaller house? If you've decided that a smaller house is right for you, we need to gain clarity into your lifestyle. What's most important to you? Are you somebody that likes the go shoulder to shoulder with Gordon Ramsay and you're in the kitchen cooking, you're playing Hell's Kitchen and you have all your friends out and you're doing your thing, then we know one thing about you already. We need to focus on the kitchen and make sure that it's glam just the right way that you want for your chef-inspired delights. Now, what if you're an outdoor person? What if you're that person that says, you know what, I can kind of take or leave the inside, so I'm down with the smaller home idea, but I have to have a lot. I want to back up to wilderness, or I want enough space that I can imagine I'm in my own little world in my backyard dream. Well, if that's important to you, then we already know that we should be looking for homes that will provide you the lifestyle and comfort you want on the inside while boosting your outdoor lifestyle so you can further entertain, you can enjoy, you can garden, whatever is most important to you. Now, if you're the socialite and you're like, hey, Andrew, you know, all I need really in the kitchen is a place to cook and make some food for my company because I really want to get out into like the living area of the house where I host everybody and we have a grand old time and we have drinks and we talk about books, we talk about life, we talk about whatever is most important to you as a socialite, right? Then we know that in the smaller home, we need to be focusing on the main living areas that are most important to you. So what I'd ask you to do is write down on a list of paper right now, go ahead and get one, and consider what kind of lifestyle do you want to live in your new home? What kind of home size does that look like? And then chat it over with your trusted real estate advisor to start bringing it into context of how much those homes cost in the areas that you wish to buy and what kind of room sizes you're looking at for each of the areas of your lifestyle that are most important to you. Gaining clarity on that up front will massively assist you in making the right decision and it'll help guide you as you're choosing the right smaller home that's perfect for you. The fourth thing to think about is, well, how do you furnish a smaller home? And it's a great point because if you're thinking right now, you're like, hey, you know what? I live in a rental, but I got a California king bed. But that room, the listing said in that smaller house, the room was only like 10 by 10. I think my bed's gonna take over. It's entirely possible that that's just the case. So when you think about furnishing a smaller space or bigger space or any type of space, one thing that you wanna get clear on is even if you like it in the store, those stores are so massive, literally tens of thousands of square feet, if not hundreds of thousands of square feet, depending on the store that you bought your bed, your furniture, or whatever from, right? It looks small in the store, but when you get it home, it's always bigger than you expected, right? So we need to gain perspective on size into the size of the home and how big your furniture is. Maybe to give you a visual illustration here, think about the last time you were over at a friend's or family member's house and they have like really big furniture. Even if it was like a really big house, maybe they have like really big furniture. I'm talking about that furniture that goes like up half of the wall and the wood is like bigger than my body. I mean, you know what I'm talking about. You've seen this before. And then you walk into that home and you're like, hey, I thought you had like a 5,000 square foot home. And they're like, oh, actually it's 5,362 square feet. And I'm like, oh, okay, well, it looks more like it's 362 square feet because, not trying to hurt your feelings, but your furniture is completely out of spatial reasoning for your property. You need to scale back the furniture. Where I'm going with this is when you're in a 1,400 or 1,600 square foot home, you can make that 1,400 to 1,600 square foot home actually look like it's 2,657 square feet by virtue of the size of furniture and the way that you paint your walls. Consider very carefully the size of the furniture when you're shopping out there. Now, I did see something really interesting on the television the other day. It was Modsy.com, and I was like, you know what? That's actually pretty interesting. So Modsy.com, what their claim to fame is and what they're trying to do is assist people with knowing how to better do interior design in their home. And I was pretty amused by it because I went on their website, I started looking, and I was like, you know what? That's pretty cool. So all you have to do is simply take pictures, a video of the room, you upload it, you have the opportunity to work with professional interior designers. Of course, they're going to charge you a little bit of a fee for that, but it's probably going to be a lot less than a traditional interior designer. Whatever you want here, it's up to you. All the same with Modsy, they have it available to you online to do this, and I thought that's pretty cool. Now, of course, that interior designer over there is selecting all this different furniture, and this is where the business dynamic of what they're offering really intrigued me. Kind of as a side note here, just as a business person thinking, hey, this is kind of interesting. The reason it was interesting is, of course, now that they've got you onto their website, you've shown them your home, they have an interior designer that you paid for their services, right? And now the interior designer has made suggestions about the artwork, the size of furniture, the type of furniture, color palette, and everything based upon what you're saying that you want to see as a masterpiece called your home. Well, they're happy to let you buy all that furniture from them and ship it directly to you. So, I mean, it's really convenient for a lot of people, but from a business dynamic, it's like, man, they got the interior designer over here and they got the shipping over here and they're selling it right there. Very smart business idea. That's my 2 cents on that. But Modsy.com, check it out and see if it's right for you, or perhaps you just prefer to get in touch with a great interior designer in your area to help you lay out your space. Whatever you choose to do, just remember that your size proportions need to be proportionate to the size of your home. If you remember that, then you're going to be feeling like you're living in a massive home, even in your smaller house. Now think through what's most important to you. Do you prefer the smaller home that's going to increase your bank account? Because let's face it, smaller homes, smaller bills. Or do you prefer that bigger house that's going to drain your bank account because bigger homes, bigger bills? Think about it, make the decision that's right for you. All right, so now let's talk about how to find the right home size for you and 6 things to consider when downsizing. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'll see you in a few.